Welcome to another episode of Healing Through Love. Each week, we share ideas, experiences, and resources to increase the awareness of domestic and family violence and to empower survivors to grow and thrive. We talk with experts who share their advice, or with people who have experienced abuse, no matter where they are on their journey. This is all about healing through love. And now, here are your hosts, Sharlene Lynch and Rose Davidson.
The Healing Through Love podcast with host Sharlene Lynch and Rose Davidson would love to acknowledge Global Glamping Charities Incorporated for generously supporting this podcast. Global Glamping Charities, solving homelessness in all of its forms. Reach out to them at globalglamping.org. The Healing Through Love podcast with Sharlene Lynch and Rose Davidson. In episode 58, Gresson Peiffer shares with us how she found her true self following her intuition and shedding all of the layers that she had before.
Well, I've been through a dark childhood, I would say. I had multiple challenges. I'll just keep this short. It's like my father abused me when I was a little child, physical abuse. I was hit publicly. I remember I felt so ashamed of it, and he didn't allow me to move around like a child does, like a normal child does. I had to always stick still. He was so dominant. It felt growing up in a prison. And I also had this Filipino background. I was born in Belgium, but I always had to do with a lot of racism. I was shut out at school. But now I understand the reason. We are all made uniquely different, and we should all embrace that.
The Healing Through Love podcast with Sharlene Lynch and Rose Davidson.
Hello and welcome to Healing Through Love podcast. I'm your host, Sharlene Lynch from sharlenelynch.com. Healing Through Love is here to help victims and survivors of domestic violence find their way back to fulfilling and meaningful life. We interview experts and survivors who share their personal stories and offer advice to those who've experienced abuse no matter where they are on their journey. As well as the Healing Through Love podcast, we hold annual Pamper Days here in South Australia for survivors of domestic and family violence, where local businesses come together and pay it forward by providing their services and resources for a day to give our survivors a much-deserved day of indulgence. Think day spa on steroids. And I'm proud to say that Healing Through Love has now gone global, and we reach out to people all over this beautiful globe to connect and create Pamper Days in their local facility. If you are a person or an organisation that has similar values, please get in touch with us through any of our platforms at Healing Through Love. Every week we have amazing guests, and this week is no different. We have Gresson Peiffer here with us today, and currently, she has an office job as a professional, but has always known that she has a bigger role to play in this world. She is convinced she is able to teach something, inspire and motivate others. She has had to learn valuable lessons firsthand in order for her to grow and own her wisdom and her inner power. The time has come for her to share her knowledge with those and share her own experience and step into her life purpose. People around her always have known her as a shy and quiet type. It's about time for her to get to her full potential through the process of spiritual awakening she's found in herself, and she can maintain the balance by working with energy. Hello and welcome, Gresson. How are you?
Hello, I'm great. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. It's so lovely to have you here. Now, what an adventure you've had to get from where you are to where you are now. I'd love to know. Could you
Yes.
share with us a little bit of your story and how you came to this level of awakening?
Well, I've been through a dark childhood, I would say. I had like multiple challenges. I'll just keep this short. It's like my father like abused me when I was a little child, physical abuse. I was hit publicly. I remember I felt so ashamed of it, and I couldn't, he didn't allow me to move around like a child does, like a normal child does. I had to always stick still. He was so dominant. It felt growing up in a prison. Um, and I also had this Filipino background. I was born in Belgium, but I always had to do with a lot of racism. I was shut out at school. Um, but now I understand the reason. We are all made uniquely different, and we should all embrace that.
I love it. So sometimes it's those dark nights of the soul that really
Yeah,
call us for our inner strength so that we can move forward to see the light and then become the light and then share the light with others. So
right, right.
in your journey, you've now on the other side, now working with energy and frequency and now working with inner child.
Mm-hmm.
And many of our listeners are somewhere on their healing journey to have that next level of iteration. Now, there's lots of different types of violence, and it can be physical,
Mm-hmm.
psychological. It comes in all sorts of shapes and sizes. It comes from maybe our parents, maybe our siblings, others in the family, and from those around us. So it's not for, if we can change the way that we look at this and we can come in from a place of being the victor, we can shift all of these frequencies. And
Mm-hmm.
a lot of the work that you do is in and around that. So let's dive in first deep to the work that you
Yeah,
do around inner child. And can you talk
yeah.
the process?
I feel it's so important to reconnect with ourselves, but I think COVID has had a lot of people on a standstill, including me. So I found a YouTube video like on the recommendations list to do that inner child meditation. At first, it was confrontational because all we have made it accustomed to run away from our emotions. It's sometimes too intense, too painful. But look at me. I don't think people notice that I've been through something dark like that. Because I managed to find the light through those meditations. It takes enormous courage, but you have to start somewhere, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. And you're right. We have to embrace our inner child, love all of those things about us. I know as a 56-year-old woman, I am frequently told I am childish, and I say thank you. I say thank you
Yeah.
when I skip and I dance. I say thank you when I'm being silly and singing a song or dancing in a circle. And it's really great that we can be in a position where we embrace fully that inner child who just wants to have some fun and be loved and equally loved. So it's beautiful that that's one of the things that you share. So you've done lots of work in and around frequency and healing modalities. Can you
Yeah.
talk a little bit more about that?
Of course, I think the most important thing is the podcast is also called Healing Through Love. I think the most important thing we realize is we have to love ourselves first. And trauma can cause a lot of responses. I myself had healing abandonment issues, rejection issues, and they somehow show up in my present life. And the first step is like awareness. We have to be aware of it because what people don't realize is what they're doing to us creates like limited beliefs, even subconsciously. And those modalities that I'm using, those frequencies that I'm using, I'm not just listening to it. I'm really focused on myself because those thoughts that I had come up and then I'm asking myself, where is that coming from? Then the emotions arise, and then I sit with it, I feel it, and then this is the most easiest way to have it released.
I love it. It begins with that journey of awareness.
Yeah.
And there's so
Yeah.
much happening around us. So one of the things that I love for my awareness is I love to journal. For me, that's a great way
Nice.
to connect to that level of awareness, because
Yeah.
things are happening for us on a subconscious level. And when we can write them down, that brings us into the awareness and then allows us to take in some action so that we can move forward and embrace that. But I love your concepts in and around self-love. And obviously that leads to self-compassion as well. So so you're an advocate for taking care of yourself and self-love?
Yes. You can't pour from an empty cup. We have to give that love to ourselves. But of course, if we are in self-avoidance mode, what do? We often tend to others. We want to please others to make them feel comfortable around us. But that doesn't work on the long term, because when we avoid ourselves, we get into those physical pains. Like my headaches, for example, they have been like emotional suppression. I figured that out. I'm no longer on medication because that only makes things worse.
Yes, so true. And it's the simple things like getting enough water, getting enough sleep, having time to yourself, and doing the things that make you feel good. And some people like baths, others like showers, some like to go for a walk, some like to stand on the ground and get grounded. So self-care and self-compassion is different for every person. If you're a little shy, then perhaps maybe it's not about being with other people. But if you're a little bit of an extrovert, then it might be about filling your cup by being in the company of other people. So not everyone's the same. Everyone is different. And it's not just some differences. It's lots of things, from our thought processes to how we take care of ourselves. But what is important, this is what I hear you saying, Gresson, is that we need to make sure that we're filling up our own cup and that we are doing what's right for us, so that we can then, literally put on our own oxygen mask. Helping others. And it's interesting, many people that are on this journey of self-discovery and on this journey of evolution is that we're so keen to reach out and help other people. And you must make sure you take care of yourself before you're reaching out to take care of others. I love it. So what are some of the things that you do in and around frequency?
Just a second.
No, that's okay. So frequency shifts quite frequently are different music too. That's going to help. There's different music has different frequencies. And you can dive into YouTube anywhere and find music YouTube frequency that's going to help you adjust, and it depends on the outcome you're looking for. I know myself personally, I love the abundance frequency of 888 lines. For me, that works really well. Any type of listening to those sorts of frequencies are going to help you shift.
And especially after work. We have been in a work environment. We have worked with different types of energies, people. That's where energy comes in, because most people aren't aware that we pick up other people's energy, especially empaths and those high sensitives. And that's where energy clearance comes in. That's the 417 energy that I just put up. And I think in half an hour, my energy really gets like myself again, like stable.
Yes, I hear you. So I do love a frequency shift. At our house, what we do is something called the third space. And that means making sure that you get out of that workspace and into your third space so that you can enjoy the next part of your life. So I work from home, and my beautiful partner only works at home 2 days a week. And aside from that, he works in the city. So when he comes home, the first thing we both say is third space, and I'll get changed into something more comfortable. He'll get changed into something more comfortable, and usually pour a beverage or do something that's a physical shift from carrying your briefcase and wearing a suit. And that third space for us has saved our relationship, especially during COVID, where we were both working in the same space. And that looked like for us just sitting on the balcony for a while, just having a drink and relaxing before we began the rest of the evening. So I love it. There's a great book on the third space, and I'm an absolute advocate of having that opportunity to shift between the different intentions you have for your day, whether it's work or play or exercise, and it really does make a difference. I love it.
Right.
So what other modalities are you using aside from working with your inner child and also frequency shifts to help people through that dark night of the soul?
I've had a couple of healing sessions, like energy healing clearings with the chakras. Let me just get into it a little bit for people to know who don't know about chakras. We all have this energetic system in our bodies, like 7 energy systems, starting from the spine till our head. And when they're out of balance, we experience like physical symptoms. Like, for example, our throat gets blocked. It hurts when we are not speaking in our truth. That's just a small example. Because I've been shy before. I never imagined coming like this today, like speaking like this in front of the camera. If you would have known me, this is a big step for me.
Congratulations on being brave. And for our listeners,
thank you.
Leaning into these little acts of bravery are the things that are going to help you move forward. Having the conversations with people about the situation that you're in, reaching out to get help from people, and getting yourself into a safe space for yourself and your family. So we need these continual acts of little bits of brave to help us move forward and lean into what's possible for our lives. I love it. So now, are you currently working with clients, Gresson?
No, not yet, but I feel that's a step. That's the next step the universe wants me to step into. Life happens out of our comfort zone, so I'm exploring those healing modalities, and of course, I want to discover which one that I'm about to teach to others. Because I don't want to be any copycat. I just want to be me, and I'm having a little fun exploring that now.
I love it. I love the exploration phase. It doesn't finish. I'm 56 years old, Gresson, and I can tell you I am still going down what we call the rabbit hole regularly. When I find out about a new piece of tech, because I'm a bit of a business coach and I love all tech stuff, or a new energy frequency work, or any new gadget. Like I love to learn more. Bits and pieces, and then that gives me the opportunity to add to my bucket for taking care of myself, and then also to assist my clients moving forward as well. And so your vision for yourself is, now that you've gone through this process and now that you're feeling like you're in your own power and you can have these conversations, is for you to dive in deep to different modalities and find out which one works for you, so that then you can share these and pay it forward to others. And that is the life cycle of someone who's gone through this, is to come out the other side and really pay it forward energetically and karmically to make a difference to other people. And I love that about Healing Through Love. All of the girls in our proximity have had an experience of one thing or another in their lives. And so that means that driven to make an impact for other people because of the impact that it's made for them, and they know what it feels like to be out the other side, through the tunnel out to the other side and in the healing space. So I love that you're being very authentic in your journey to find out what works for you and how you can move forward. That's really good. Do you think that speaking, like podcasts and speaking to camera, will be one of the things that you'll do to move forward?
Yes, I'm open to everything. Just going with the flow, trusting the process, even though it seems scary sometimes. Some things are meant to happen, and if I'm meant to do that, then I'll discover that further.
I love it. Trust and
I
faith.
also just want how you call it? I want people to know. I want people to teach that they can heal themselves.
Mm.
I
Well,
want people to find their answers within themselves. But because we all have been looking externally, but when we dare to connect, the expert advice just arises through our intuition.
It's so true. So how do we get connected, Gresson, to our intonation? Can you share that with our audience today?
Yes, of course. It starts very small. It's like I wake up in the morning, I do a meditation like 5 minutes. But if people aren't into meditation, they can just go for a walk in the park, connect with nature, and journaling is also another way. Because I started with a small blog, writing things down because I felt like I'm like an inspiration for others, my story. So I started to gain that courage while I was sharing small things. And I ended up with a book because that was the thing that the universe wanted me to do.
That's beautiful. And so what's the book called, Gresson?
It's Sharing My Light and Healing Energy. And it's Journey to True Self. Yes.
I love it. Okay. And is that available? Where can people get hold of the book, Gresson?
They can get it on Amazon, amazon.com.
Excellent. Fantastic. And so who would be someone who would read this, Gresson, the book?
I feel like you mentioned before, people who entering the dark night of the soul, people who are looking for answers, who start to begin their spiritual journey. Yeah, and also people they want to have those answers where they why they experience some things, because I have it's not only a blueprint for others, it's not only my story, but it's also a blueprint for others to help them to find a way, some guidance, some thought-provoking questions, but I'm not going to give too much away.
Excellent. Okay, so you can find that book. Now, you'll find the connection to it in the show notes and also in the description. And it's a fabulous read. Do you know roughly how long it takes someone to read? Like, how many words has it got?
Wow. I think like 60,000 words, like 250 pages.
Yep,
Yeah.
so it's a big book. It's a big book. So this is something I'm going to read over the weekend. Or something that you could pick up and read and put down again, or is it something you want to read in one session?
Both. But I would say they should take their time with this.
Excellent. I love it.
Because I want them to reflect on their own lives as well. It's meant to do so.
Excellent. That's fantastic. So what sort of, aside from having this level of awareness that there's a challenge and knowing that there could be a different answer, what are some of the tools and techniques that you like to share with people to do?
Let's go back to that journaling because I feel it's important. Because when you journal, it's like having a conversation with yourself. Like picking up those negative thoughts, you can transform them to positive beliefs. Like, for example, I'm just gonna give an example. Like, you're feeling not worthy, and you can switch that with I am worthy. It's that I am that's the most powerful. But if you really want to manifest something, then the wordiness is so important, because I feel that's the biggest energy block someone can have, either consciously or subconsciously. We underestimated that so much because we often tend to look at others, but we forget to look at our own abundance.
Absolutely. It's so true that when you start with something like gratitude, which has a very high frequency of 540 hertz, which is right up there with joy and love, that when you bring gratitude to what you do have, it's what you do have enough. And then if you have that vision or that desire for what it is that you're manifesting, hold that in one hand and your gratitude in the other, then it just comes to pass. And you're right, Gresson, that many of us just look in the not having of things. And that's why we get stuck in that inability to manifest. And humans are designed to manifest every day. Well, this is how we're designed. So it's being human and leaning into that humanness of manifestation. I love it. So there's so much to learn, Gresson, but all of the answers are in your book. So then go and find the book, and we'll make sure link is in the show notes and show description. So Gresson, can you lean into what would be your most important thing that you've learned in your journey?
Wow. There's a lot, but something I haven't mentioned yet is to stay true to ourselves, to our own life, because like parents can give us advice, but it comes from what they have been through, and if they have been hurt too many times, they speak from a place of fear, and that may block us. Our environments may block us. We don't have to underestimate that. I think that's like 50% of our manifestation. It just goes there. And so I'm an advocate in discovering ourselves. Of course, we can go for guidance, but we have to really follow our intuition in making that final decision.
It's so true, Gresson, because we are challenged to lean into that level of intuition, because it's about, am I worthy of this? And we hold ourselves in that lower frequency of not feeling worthy, and that makes it challenging for us to connect to our gut, connect to our intuition, so that we can lean forward. So, listeners, some of the things that are really important in and around connecting with your intuition are definitely what you're sticking in your mouth, just saying. So, good water, making sure you get heaps of sleep, and making sure you're eating good food, that's not going to slow down that ability to intuition. I love it. And then that's all about shifting your frequency as well, and self-care. So you can see how this is self-fulfilling prophecy. The intuition just flows. I love it. And I love your idea of just having that meditation in the morning. And if you're not that way, fine, just going for a walk, so that you can have that connecting to your higher self. And also, as you need to lean into the journaling, so that you can have that connection. And if you want all the others, you'll have to read Gresson's book, which is available, as we've said, on Amazon. So in closing, Gresson, it would be really great if you could give some words of wisdom to our audience. If you could only tell them one thing, what would be the thing you would tell them?
I feel like, look at me with my experience with my father. It all happened for a reason. Now I'm turning into an advocate, sharing my own story to be at service for others. And we have all that potential within ourselves. It just got covered with those limited beliefs and the social conditioning. So I would say find that courage, because actually it's a fun journey with yourself. It's really fun, but it may seem hard in the beginning, but the light is always been there within us.
I love it. That's fantastic. Thank you so much, Gresson. It's been a wonderful time.
You're welcome.
And Gresson and I had a wonderful conversation before we actually pressed play today, so that was really lovely. And to reach out to Gresson, all of her links are in the show notes and in the description, including the link to her book. And we look forward to seeing you again and another time, Gresson. Thank you so much for sharing your love and your light. And that's a bye.
You're welcome.
And a bye from Gresson. Bye for now.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for joining us for this episode of Healing Through Love. You can get further resources, see the show notes, or simply reach out to us via our website at htlaustralia.org. Thanks so much for joining us, and we look forward to your company next time on the Healing Through Love podcast.